It's like that Slipknot song, isn't it? People equals sign.
Shh. Spoilers ahead.
Hi everybody and welcome to Cinemattraction. I'm Heat Guy Jay and this is Cold to the Bone.
John!
Let me ask you a question, John.
Certainly.
Why are you dressed like you just came out of the French Foreign Legion?
I was buried in these clothes. I haven't seen you for 2 weeks. What are you watching?
I haven't been watching a great deal of films. I've been watching some TV shows.
What have you been watching?
I've been watching The Boys. My sister-in-law turned me onto The Boys, which I quite enjoy.
It's good.
Yeah, I've watched all of season 1 and I'm tucking into season 2 that I'm pretty much enjoying because it's everything I like. Superheroes and gore.
Adult themes.
And adult themes, yeah. When I see those adult themes come up, I'm like, yeah, this is mine.
Sold.
I recently saw a program on Netflix called The Night Agent, which people on the internet have been going nuts about, which is kind of like about a guy in the White House where he gets he's an agent, he gets sort of mixed up in this political thing, and it's not very well acted, I found. I didn't really enjoy. I'm like watching it thinking, this is really not very well acted. I don't...
Yeah. I'm watching this thing. It's not very acted. It's not very well put together.
Yeah.
I'm not really enjoying it, but I'm still watching it.
I'm still watching it because like my wife is loving it. I'm like, want to watch another one? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, oh.
So you've been binging those?
Been binging those, and I recently saw Cocaine Bear.
What did you think of Cocaine Bear?
I wasn't.
We're not going to do an episode.
No, we're not. I liked the trailer, but I
liked
didn't.
it.
It wasn't what I
thought it was
expected.
fun.
I'll say.
But
I'm not saying it's a bad film.
Did
but
you stream it or did you watch it at the cinema?
I streamed it.
I saw it at the cinema,
Right.
and there was a good vibe. So maybe that might have changed your
Could have
opinion.
changed, yeah. I
Maybe.
think that's true. Like when you go and see like
when everybody's laughing?
an MCU movie, you
MC
know.
Hammer. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you have the vibe of the people, and that gets you a bit more excited. And yeah, maybe
Cinemas
that's
a great.
You've been watching a lot of foreign political films.
Yeah, I watched a couple of watched a Polizio Teschi and watching some really weird trash from the 70s.
Yeah,
Italian trash from the 70s.
political as well, aren't they?
Years of Lead, yeah.
Yeah,
Which is a time of conflict in Italy.
Right.
Yeah. The main thing I've been watching though, which I don't know if I can log on to Letterboxd, is all of the episodes have been added to Freevee of Miami Vice.
Okay.
Miami Vice is fantastic.
Good old Miami Vice.
Miami Vice. I don't think I've ever watched Miami Vice.
Really? I
don't
used to
believe
love
so.
watching it as a kid.
Yeah.
I used to get like my shower and stuff to all be ready for like
your
9
Jimmy
o'clock. I think it was
Jams.
like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
That's a bit heavy for a
BBC One.
kid.
Oh yeah, well my mum used to let me watch stuff like that. You know, I had a great mum.
Good afternoon, Jackie. Yeah, no, it's all on Freevee. It's fantastic. I've never watched it before, and I've got through one season.
So you've really been enjoying it.
I'm loving it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's right on my street. It's right on my jam. Inception is a sci-fi action thriller from Christopher Nolan. Professional thief Cobb steals information by accessing the subconscious of his targets using experimental technology. Cobb is approached by Saito to enter the subconscious of Robert, the son of Saito's corporate competitor Morris Fisher, to implant an idea, the titular Inception, with the intention of destroying Morris's business. In return, Cobb will have his criminal history erased. Inception will be a wildly complex maneuver which would require many condensed layers to carry out. Many condensed layers of subconsciousness, I suppose. Yeah. Cobb accepts the offer and assembles a team. It doesn't go smoothly. Lives are lost. The team enter limbo, or members of the team that enter limbo. And Cobb is forced to face a familiar face, being the subconscious projection of his late wife, Mal, who threatens to sabotage everything, boasting a stunning cast, including the likes of young Leo,
my boy,
Marco Kane, Ken Watanabe, Marion Cotillard, JGL, Elliot Page, Tom Hardy, and Cillian Murphy, among others, millions of others. A critical and commercial success, taking $828 million redos worldwide from a $160 million budget, collecting 4 Oscars for Best Cinematography, Best Sound Editing, Best Sound Mixing, and Best Visual Effects.
It deserves them all.
Absolutely, from 8 nominations, including Best Picture. That he didn't win. A stirring, ambiguous and thoroughly mind-bending tale of espionage, ethics, identity, manipulation, corporate skullduggery, the subconscious guilt and redemption. What do you think of Inception?
What did I think of it?
When did you first see it?
I first saw it I first saw the trailer about a year before it came out, and I was like, "What the hell is this? This looks
Just Leo
amazing."
with a helicopter, wasn't it?
No. It was you saw a glimpse of JGL running across the hall where all the gravity's all off.
Okay.
Against, and you see a bit of that, and it's like, wow, what is this? It's Christopher Nolan. This looks amazing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I saw it at the cinema, and I was just blown away because I'd never seen anything like it.
Hot off the success of The Dark Knight as well.
Yeah.
He was
I mean, my
really on a
feelings for
roll.
this film are too intense. I can't decide really what to say about this film because
I think
where to
it's-
start.
Okay. I think it's a technical marvel, but on the whole, I'm not the biggest fan of this film.
The one thing I do have to mention to start off with
Certainly.
is first of all Hans Zimmer's God-destroying soundtrack.
Okay.
One of the best soundtracks I've ever heard of any
you mean
movie.
score?
The score.
Right.
The
Apart-
score.
aside-
Next to like Star Wars or something huge like that.
Yeah.
I've never heard a score that I've loved so
it's
much.
a really, really, really score. Really, really good score, but it's also a really, really good theme.
Yes,
Like a
it
brilliant
fits
theme.
really well
Perfect.
with the film, like the change in tone of the film as well. The feelings that maybe are going on in the certain bits of the film.
Nailed it.
I think, Hans Zimmer really nailed this one, and this is one of the very few soundtracks I actually bought the CD of just
that
to
right?
listen to the CD because
Okay.
I don't,
Yeah,
apart
good
from like
choice,
Star
man.
Wars and stuff, I don't really listen
Do you
to.
own the Star Wars scores?
I've got the Star Wars scores, but apart from them, I don't really listen to film soundtracks. To be honest,
You don't like the Tarantino ones? You don't like because he usually puts together some really, really impressive.
Well, yeah, I mean, I like needle drops and stuff like
those
that.
ones.
But I mean, like actual, like original soundtracks, I don't usually listen to.
Okay.
Unless there's something very special about them. I mean, I really like the Black Adam main theme.
You've been trying to get me to.
It's the Black Adam main theme is really good. I mean, it's better than the film. It's just that, like, the theme tune to Black Adam is amazing. I loved it.
Black Adam.
I just felt so sad that such a fantastic theme was in such
Wasted
a
in such a-
wasted in a
Guff.
movie they've scrapped anyway.
Guff film.
I love the dynamics between the characters, especially Arthur and Ames,
Sure.
who seem to have like a familiarity and a history together.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, especially like when he goes, "You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling," because you always get this thing of like
Flawless.
Ames knows what Arthur is like.
Yeah.
So, and there's other bits where they sort of going, thank you for your, so like they knew that they have a history together, so they can banter backwards
There's a
and
bit
forwards.
of camaraderie, I suppose.
I love the dirty performance by my boy Ken.
Ken Watanabe. Is
What
fantastic, to be fair.
Watanabe? Yeah. He's good, isn't he?
He's good in this.
Go
yeah.
back so we can be young men together. You're not a young man now. He's not a young man now. 10 years ago, he was not a young man.
Well, how was it? How old was
I
he?
don't know. Ken Watanabe was probably about 40 10 years ago.
No, he wasn't.
He probably was. I think he was. Yeah, because he is
beautiful young
Oriental,
man.
so he's aging very well.
Okay.
You've got to give a shout out to Oriental people that age really well.
Well, we all love Oriental.
And of course, Leo gives a tortured performance as Dom Cobb.
Right.
What do you think of the names in this film?
Stupid.
I didn't like the name. Well, I mean, I didn't mind like Arthur.
Would you ever get married to a Mao?
No, or Ariadne.
No.
Ames.
Well, Ames is a pretty common surname, isn't it?
Yeah. And Dom. Just Dom. I mean, he's Dominic,
I know
isn't
a
he?
Dom. I know a Dom.
Yeah.
So, sure.
The names were a
The
bit.
names are a bit rubbish. I think each character has a purpose, but I don't think the performances are particularly great across the
Right.
board.
Okay.
I like JGL. I like
I think this is one of his better films he's been
some
in.
good physicality as well,
Yeah.
especially during that scene
Yeah.
with that. Yeah, in the hallway.
I like his character in this.
I love Ken Watanabe as well. Leo does his mumble through everything and then suddenly erupt routine that he does in every movie. I'm not the biggest fan of Leo, to be fair. Cotillard's a solid femme fatale, I think.
Yeah.
To me anyway.
Yeah.
I think the script, which is littered with straightforward exchanges, sprinkled with technobabble and instances of we need to do this to prevent this.
Yeah.
Or to make this happen. doesn't help. I think that the script isn't fantastic.
I think this is a film geared more towards
and I don't think
the actual
performances
adventure
are
rather than the...
I'm not... I need
It's not really geared about the people. It's more about the story and the adventure rather than who the people are, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, that's a good point.
Like you said, they all have a use.
They all have a purpose. And, don't get me wrong.
And their private lives are really sort of irrelevant to the story.
Well, it's just... Sure. Yeah, we'll get into that, actually, because I want to make a point about that.
Okay.
But you made a good point. Like, there is some good... some characters have history together, and I like that. That's fine. But generally speaking, I'm not sure this is the best written... I can't remember a single... You know how you get, like, quotable lines in movies?
Yeah.
I can't really think of many
Well,
in this.
I just
you
did
gave
one.
out one, sure.
Yeah.
Name another.
Let us go back so we can be all a young men together.
Right. Is it because you're doing
Waiting.
that voice, or do you remember that line? Exactly.
I do remember being an old man filled with regret.
Right. Aren't we all? I do love... I mean...
It's not that quotable. It's not that
It's
quotable.
not. It's not particularly well written, I think.
No, it's not that hugely quotable. No.
It's full of amazing concepts and bits and pieces, but I don't think it's particularly brilliant. I love the use of dreams. Let's go into the good. And the use of dreams and the subconscious is certainly an interesting one.
It's a different kind of sci-fi, which I enjoy.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not space sci-fi or even tech sci-fi. It's dream sci-fi.
There is
there's tech, but I mean they use tech in the way to get to sleep. So it's all about dreaming and subconscious and
to get into the subconscious. The use of dreams, very interesting. And I like Nolan's approach. There's a sort of a grounded approach because you could have had dinosaurs randomly just...
Well, you could have,
Dreams are pretty... And, he does do flights of fantasy, so he does do the rotating, hallway thing that we've talked about.
But there is a groundedness there, isn't there?
Enveloping Parisian street, things like that. But there is a sort of groundedness to it. But at the same time, it kind of works within the context. So I really quite like that approach.
Yeah, because he could have gone the way of there could have been somebody's having a nightmare in it.
Yeah.
And there's a horde of demons in it or something.
Dreams are generally quite weird and illogical.
Yeah, they are illogical.
I'm glad he kind of went down this direction. And this approach, I think.
All those people are having mundane dreams. Let's face it, they are. Well, not the one with Tallulah Riley in it, though. Yeah, that's not a mundane dream. Sitting and having a drink with her.
Indeed, Mrs. Musk, or the former Mrs. Musk, I guess. Badly treated by Elon Musk, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? I don't know why you do that.
Because he's a scumbag, isn't he?
Sorry,
Elon.
Sorry, we're not bad mouthing you, but to do that to her.
And I also do like the use of limbo. I don't know what else to call it. It is limbo.
It is limbo. That's what they refer to it as, don't they?
And the use of totems as a means to working out whether a character is in, where they're at, kind of thing, in the real world or not, perhaps. That's brilliant.
I think that is. I think they had to put that in because sometimes I've had dreams where, I've dreamt a mundane dream, and there's only been something weird that's happened in the dream that's actually made me think. Right, I know I'm not awake.
Right.
Because I've been picking up my mobile and my mobile's gone all twitchy and weird, and I thought mobiles don't normally do this.
Sure. Yeah.
Or something odd, and then you're like, oh, hang on, this isn't. But everything else feels real. So.
Bit of Edith Piaf suddenly.
Yes, I did like the kick scene. I like the kicks where they went all up the. I didn't like the piece of music because I'm not.
What, Edith Piaf?
Yeah, I'm not keen on it.
It's got Edith Piaf in a movie starring the lady who won an Oscar for playing Edith Piaf.
Oh
which
yeah,
is
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Go on, Marion. So sell this movie to me because I just don't feel this film at all.
Well, it's for me. I think it's a. It's a sensory film. It's something you sit back and you watch and you experience rather than sort of analyse, I think. The film is better if you're not analysing every little thing, because if you do...
I can't help myself.
Which you're going to do that. That's the thing. This is why I would say about, with you can't sit back and watch a film and just enjoy the spectacle. You're always going to be...
I find that boring.
Yeah, you're always going to be analytical about it.
I want to know what's going on. What's the point? What's the point in just watching colours and shapes? But
what I mean is, if you're listening to a record, do you think about how the record's made? Do you think about what notes they might be playing in the record? I try to. Do you?
And I try to also unpick what the singer is singing and things like that.
Well, no, yeah, you can do that with lyrics, I think. Yeah, if you're trying to unpick what the song is about.
Pick apart what they're actually trying to do. So
have you never listened to a record just because you like the sound of the record, though? Not because you like the lyrics.
With great respect, I cannot remember if I've ever done such a thing. I presume I have. So there.
I do that a lot. I do that a lot.
Like you've never listened to like Videotape by Radiohead and listened to the. Oh, speaking of syncope, syncopation. Right. Obviously, Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
The beautiful use of syncopation. Just enjoy it and work out.
No, not really. No. I just enjoy it.
So different.
I just enjoy it for what it is. I just enjoy the whole thing of.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, great.
And I think it's wonderful when you're listening to a record or something, or even watching a movie and you discover something, even though you've listened to it like a million times.
Oh, I love that when you pick up something you've.
Well, you're like, wow, I never heard that guitar bit in there.
It's Die Hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Die Hard, you always notice something.
Yeah.
Weird.
Or you hear a voice in the background go, oh wow, I never heard that bit.
Yeah.
Or something in a film where you never noticed that little item sitting in the back of the film.
But it's also that little item that then carries into another little piece.
Yes.
And it's so subtle. Like, I never. Die Hard.
Yeah.
It's full of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Can we talk about the stakes? Because I think that's the fundamental problem with the movie.
Okay.
For me.
Stakes, right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's a great concept.
Yeah.
Corporate dream thieves.
Yeah.
Though I feel the nature or the stakes of the main hit, like the main Inception, I suppose, the hit, whatever the thieves commit a hit in my book. One boss trying to kill off his competition. That's the hit, right? Is relatively small. The stakes,
it's small for them, yes.
In my opinion, perhaps could have been greater than mere corporate greed.
Yeah.
Right? As such, the stakes seem so small in the face of the epicness of the overall picture. If this was like a governmental, like if they'd militarized this thing and they were, I'm going to get into the brain of the president of wherever to stop the president of wherever dropping 1 million nukes.
That would have been better.
That would have been better.
Yeah, that would. I agree.
As such, I think it's really, really messy and really, really... Well, it's messy in its own right because he's putting so many things in it, but it's fundamentally bloated.
Yeah, I do agree with that because the stakes are that he's just gonna the sun is gonna take over.
Yeah,
it's just Ken Watanabe's business that's going to be sort of pushed out.
Exactly,
because he's going to have a monopoly.
I just think it's so small.
And for all the rest of the characters,
right,
there's nothing really,
is there?
Not
much. Yeah,
it's just a job.
Yeah,
it's just like a bank job that you have no. Investment in what you're stealing. It's just part of a job.
It's like a heist.
Yeah,
that's fine.
It is a heist. Yeah,
but
that's a very good point. That is a very good point. That it should have been something. It should have been something very important.
Because it's so small. Because the stakes are relatively small. It's just one businessman trying to knock his competitor out.
It would have been better if it was a president. Like, say, a president was going to attack somewhere.
Sure.
They have to. A country has said to them, you need to go into your president's mind and stop him from launching these nukes at us.
Nukes or what, some horrible
and just
thing.
Devastating the world. Yeah, that would have been brilliant. Yeah,
instead of this relatively small scale
and then everything would have been on the line, wouldn't it, for all the characters?
Corporate espionage.
Yeah,
that's fine in its own right. But
no, I do agree.
As such, he makes it. I think he knows that he's made a really Christopher Nolan and presumably a writer. I don't know who wrote this.
Did Jonathan Nolan write it with him?
I suspect so, but I don't know.
So.
I should have maybe done some research before doing this, but I think they both the writers and Chris Nolan presumably realise that this is such a small stakes that they then pad it out and stretch it out way beyond perhaps what it needs to be.
Yeah.
With Cobb kind of weaving several layers of subconsciousness together in order to sort of achieve the goal. Didn't need to do it necessarily.
No, I think Christopher Nolan just wrote this.
And I like the fact that Cobb is trying to get a clean slate and try and sort of move on from trying to exercise his guilt and sort of move on.
Yeah,
he's using that as I don't think you really need so much of Mal, and I don't think you really.
But then.
He's exploring his guilt.
Marion Cotillard wouldn't have anything to do in the film, would she?
Do you really need Marion Cotillard? I don't mind giving him a bit of backstory, and I don't mind giving him a bit of setup.
Yeah.
But you don't need her to be so central to the plot.
But don't you think she had to be in it because he
straightforward...
was... Yeah, but just having him on the team means that the mission could possibly be jeopardised.
But you've got all of these other components, all the other members of this team that could have... You could have had just a loose cannon. You could have had Tom Hardy, a relative loose cannon, scupper things, right?
Why was Leo even on it? Because if you think about it, they could have actually done.
Sure.
They could have done it with Arthur, who had no demons.
Sure. You could have. Yeah, sure. But even so,
because I don't think Dom actually invented any of the actual. Did he? I don't think he made any of the.
And I think also
any of the dreams, did he?
Not to my knowledge.
No. He was just a ride along, wasn't
he? I like it for what it is, but it's just padded out in so small scale that it's.
As I said, this is one of those films. If you really dig deep.
But that's my problem with it. It's just so, and the climactic Alpine siege.
Very James Bond.
Thing. What's the point?
Yeah.
I get you kind of need it to end, and
it was trying to be something big, wasn't it?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, something exciting.
Sure, that's fine. I don't care, and it's not necessary.
Right.
No?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, from what you've told me now, I think that I hate this film.
I think the greatest...
I hate it.
I think the greatest inception of all is how Christopher Nolan has implanted the idea that this is a good film into people's heads.
There you go. That's what this is.
That's my review.
That's what it is.
Christopher Nolan
Inception. The actual Inception is you. You're not... Yeah, that's it. He's implanting that this is a great movie.
There we are.
You're going to go out and buy it. I've wasted my money on a 4K presentation of this rubbish.
I'm just because for years you've said like you don't like it, you don't like it. I don't like it for those reasons, and I think they're pretty justified reasons.
They are justified. I would 100% agree.
Okay.
I do. I don't know why I love it, but I mean, like at the end,
you love it because you said it was a sensory experience.
Yeah,
you love the.
And I love the bit at the airport at the end where there's all nods. You know, they're all looking at each other, and you all know what they've done, but like they can't really talk to each other.
Sure. So what's your favourite bit?
Well, I think my favourite bit is possibly. I think it's got to be the hotel scene where the hallway where JGL
Again,
is.
It's really impressive.
And I do think it's hilarious where he's wrapped them all up, all the people up, and put them in the. Because he's trying to find a way to, and he's wrapped them all up, and they're sort of like, I don't know, bunched up like sardines.
Indeed.
And he's like shifting them about as if they're just stock.
Yeah.
On the shop floor.
Indeed.
No, I do like that bit.
Again, I think the spectacle is incredible.
Yeah.
I love the concept. I think the score is incredible as well. Yeah, there's plenty to love here.
Yeah.
I don't like Leo, I think.
Right.
Sorry.
Well, maybe Leo is just, you either like him or you don't. I don't know.
Marmite, innit?
Yeah, I guess so. I have got a recommendation on this.
I have a few. Go on.
Okay. Dreamscape.
I don't know that one.
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid. I don't know it.
From the 80s.
Okay. Is it 1988?
1984, maybe?
Oh, okay. Dreamscape. So explain.
I don't remember much about it, but I saw it as a kid, and it really frightened me. And it was about people sleeping and their dreams.
Okay.
So it was similar
into the subconsciousness. Can he get into people's dreams then? Does
people? Does
Dennis Quaid need to?
From what I can remember, a villain gets into people's dreams.
Okay, is it Dennis Quaid?
No.
Okay.
It's not Freddy
either.
Just
that he's entered a human body.
He has.
Tinily.
He has.
He's also it would have been great if it had entered the mind. As I always have Dennis Quaid on my mind. So. And Randy Quaid. I would thoroughly recommend Satoshi Kon's Paprika, which I feel is the absolute perfect.
Paprika! I haven't seen that in years. The anime.
Yeah, it's an exploratory kind of subconscious movie.
Yeah,
and I think he actually steals a few things from this as well.
Yeah,
Christopher Nolan steals from Satoshi Kon. Andre Tarkovsky's Solaris.
Never seen that.
Oh, it's a masterpiece.
Is it?
Which shares.
Is that the one with George Clooney?
There was a Steven Soderbergh remake starring George Clooney.
But that's not the one you're talking about.
No. Andrei Tarkovsky's filmography is littered with masterpieces. He's probably the top 5 directors ever.
Right.
And Solaris, it was remade by Soderbergh with Clooney. But this is a Russian film. It shares similar themes, if you will. 100% absolutely recommended, and it would be a really good companion to this. Blade Runner, maybe, and its sequel, maybe. I think there's a similar kind of.
Didn't Hans Zimmer do the theme for the second Blade Runner? Yeah. So you have got maybe the
Matrix movies as well.
No, he didn't do Matrix.
No, I mean as recommendations in.
Oh yes, I would say Matrix. Yeah, because that's kind of dreamy, isn't it? In a way.
Questions of consciousness and reality and things like that.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yes or Nolan? This is a game of higher or lower, basically. Nolan has worked with a bunch of people a bunch of times. He's worked with Michael Caine. Can you do Michael Caine?
My name is Michael Caine.
Flawless.
You only had to blow the bloody doors off.
Michael,
get
he's
you
worked
very
with
high.
Michael Caine on 8 different projects. So this is going to be a case of like higher or lower.
Okay.
Excluding the upcoming Oppenheimer, because that's not out yet at the time of this recording. How many Christopher Nolan's films has young Cillian been in or appeared in?
Okay. I've got to do higher or lower?
Higher or lower. So forget Michael Caine, who has been in 8 projects. How many?
Right.
I've literally written him down as young Cillian.
Right, young Cillian. Yeah, it is young Cillian.
Young Leo and young Cillian.
So we're excluding Oppenheimer.
Just excluding up because it's not out yet, so it's pointless at the time of this recording. So how many of Christopher Nolan's films
About
is young Cillian?
3 or 4?
Oh, it's 5.
5, really?
Higher or lower? Gary Oldman.
How many has he been? Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman, the old man.
I'm trying to think of any Christopher Nolan films he's been in.
Was he not Commissioner Gordon?
Oh, yes, of course he was. 3.
He's been in 4.
4?
So that's lower, but yeah. JGL.
He has only been in 1.
Has he? Was he not Robin?
Oh, yes, of course he was. 2.
2.
Sorry.
Okay, so
Yes. I wasn't thinking of Batman. I'm not thinking of Batman. I'm thinking of like
They're all
the
Christopher Nolan
Prestige and
yeah,
yeah.
Sure. Hardy Thomas. Higher or lower than 2?
He's been in 2.
He's been in 3. It's higher. Marion Cotillard.
She's been in 2.
She has been in 2. Correct. Kenny Branagh, excluding Oppenheimer because he's in Oppenheimer.
He's only been in 1.
He's been in 2.
What was he in this?
He's been in 2.
He's been in Tenet.
He's been in Tenet.
Yeah. What else has he been in?
Dunkirk. He was the captain man on the boat.
Oh,
captain
I'm terrible at this.
And the last one should be slightly easier. Christian Bible.
Oh, he's been in 4.
Yay!
Because the Prestige, yes.
Interstellar is a sci-fi epic.
I'm glad I got that one right because I love Christian Bale.
Christian Bibles. Interstellar is a sci-fi epic co-written and directed by Christopher Nolan, set during the midst of a global famine.
How many has he been in? Christopher Nolan films. how many has Matthew McConaughey been in?
1.
1.
I think I'm putting this together. I do remember that. Set during the midst of a global famine in 2067, we follow ex-NASA pilot Joseph Cooper, who is working as a farmer. Cooper witnesses a strange gravitational anomaly in his daughter Murph's bedroom. He reaches out to his old chums at NASA, where Professor Brand reveals NASA are working on a top secret mission to locate. And this is the most exciting synopsis in the world.
Yeah, but it is exciting. This is an exciting movie.
To locate an exoplanet suitable for sustaining life, as planet Earth is in very bad shape. Brand formulates a gravity equation and enlists Cooper to pilot and lead the mission. A team is assembled and they scuttle off into the vast unknown, travelling through a wormhole to visit 3 planets believed to be suitable. Things go a bit wrong, and time is lost and lives are lost, and Matt Damon turns out to be a very bad Martian after all. Cooper soon finds himself on a personal quest, travelling through the very fabric of time and space to return to his beloved family. Turns out Murph had used Brown's equation to lead humanity away from Earth the whole time, because she's quite clever. A critical and commercial success, taking 5 Oscar nominations, winning the Best Visual Effects Award. Again, it's pretty justified. The film would be praised by those in the know for its scientific accuracy and portrayal of theoretical astrophysics. The filmmakers having worked really closely with theoretical physicist Kip Thorne.
Right.
Kipper.
Wee bit of backstory. Steven Spielberg was attached to direct a version of this way back in 2006. Jonathan Nolan would be brought in to write a version in 2007 and would recommend his brother Chris in 2012.
Right, yeah.
Christopher would come on board. I think having Spielberg in the back of your mind on this actually kind of helps. Christopher would come on board and co-write the story with his brother, leading into production in early 2013, I think. I really like this film.
Yes, I do.
It's a massively ambitious story of very complex scientific themes.
It's huge.
It's big.
It's big. It's huge.
Again, a very ambitious, complex story, very complex scientific themes, which are somewhat surface level understandable.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. A lot of this was over my head.
I think the stakes, and we were talking about stakes in the previous
This
one,
definitely has got stakes.
but the motivations of stakes are really clear.
Yeah.
And really understandable.
And really big.
When did you first see this film?
I saw it at the cinema with you.
Yay! What do you think?
I thought it was massive. It's one of those films that you see and you go, oh, I just saw a film. You know what I mean? Like, not just like an hour and a half film that you forget an hour later.
Right.
This film is...
Cocaine there.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. You know, you see this film and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
That film was not just big mentally, but big physically and everything.
Yeah.
I think Matthew McConaughey's performance in it is very good.
Yeah.
I think he's got a lot of emotion in it. There's only one thing that I did pick up on. He does an awful lot of crying in his helmet. When he's wearing his space helmet. Now, we all know when you cry, you tend to get a bit of problem with your nose because your nose gets a bit stuffed up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A bit runny.
Blair Witch.
Now, what's he going to do when his
What you
nose
gonna
starts
do?
running and he's banging away he's going, Murph, Murph! And his nose starts to run, and he hasn't got tissue because he can't.
There's only one way it's going to go, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to down the...
Or he's going to have to snort all that up again, which is not particularly nice. Although he is peeing into his spacesuit, so I
Sure.
suppose snorting up some of his boogers and gonna
Wasn't Elvis's jumpsuit?
covered in boogers.
Well, no, it was because he would evacuate his bowels frequently, wouldn't he?
Right.
When
Yeah.
performing.
Yeah.
But you'd never know.
Oh, he didn't.
He would go number 1 and go number 2 while performing.
No, he did not.
Apparently, yeah. But he had a specially constructed suit. Which
Oh, that's
was
disgusting. I don't want to hear any more of that.
Okay. He was the king,
So
mate.
you like watching him perform and
Yeah.
and he's really taking a dump.
He may have. Yeah, I agree. Matthew McConaughey is absolutely fantastic.
Yes, yes, and I think his performance, especially like the emotional range that because he doesn't normally do
good
that,
man,
does he?
yeah,
Very
yeah.
often. His emotional range is very good in this.
Yeah.
And you'd read. I mean, like his performance is believable. When he's sitting there and he's saying goodbye to his little girl Murph, you really believe that. You know, you could see in his face like veins are coming up and everything.
He's
He
reaching
really is
deep.
upset. He's choked
reaching
up.
deep. Yeah.
Um,
He's got the action man qualities to
Yes.
to be the intrepid pilot. But
Yeah.
He's got that emotional range as
Yeah.
well to convey the various heartbreaks and crises and things like that.
The one thing I did notice is if you listen to any of you don't listen really because it's completely silent. Anything that happens in space is completely silent, which I really liked because there's no sound in space, is there?
There isn't, yeah.
So all the explosions in it when when Matt Damon takes the thing up and explodes, there is no sound.
Could you imagine this in the hands of Michael Bay?
It would be
That's
so
an
noisy.
annoying film.
It would be so noisy. And I really like that attention to detail that they're going right. Yeah, well, if something explodes or something clicks into place, you're not going to hear it click into place,
Indeed.
because there's no sound.
I might be in the minority because it was a very memey kind of performance, but
Yeah.
Anne Halfway,
Yeah.
Anne Halfway's, is fantastic. Do you not?
I thought she can do better. I've seen
well,
better
she's
performances
a
than
top
what
actor.
she's.
Yeah, fair enough.
I felt
she's
she was
really
a
good.
little bit wooden in this.
Oh, really?
A little bit.
Okay.
Um,
It's very memey.
yeah.
Yeah.
Compared to her other performances that she's done, she's
Well, have you ever sat through Les Mis?
no.
She's awful.
Is she? Oh.
She's so bad. I think she
No, I only
won
got
for
through
it, though,
about
as
10
well.
minutes of Les Mis.
Oh, so bad.
I'd-
What do you think of Jessica Chastain?
Very good. She's always excellent.
She is always excellent.
And I even thought that little Casey Affleck was good.
Little case.
Yeah, little Casey Affleck was good, where he was, miserable little, he was grumpy little farming man.
Indeed.
Um,
Grumpy little fun.
was it Timothy Chalamet at the beginning?
Yeah.
I
It's
thought.
the character's by two, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
but I thought
Timothy
so. Because when that came out,
Chalamet.
he wasn't famous, was he? When that came out.
It was slightly earlier, yeah.
Yeah.
Just before he really broke. I think.
Yeah. So I
that's it.
noticed that because I was like, oh, when we went to see him, I wouldn't have noticed him because he wasn't famous.
Timothy Chalamet.
So, yeah.
And speaking of that, it's a sort of fatherhood film, father-daughter film,
Yeah.
or a family. The
Yeah.
emphasis on the family. I think.
And I think also it's about abandonment.
Abandonment. The
That's
Coop's
the main-
relationship with
yeah.
Murph specifically.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. It's very much about abandonment. I did like it when they land on the water planet,
Yes.
that there's 7 years to every 1 hour on the planet.
Yes.
So, like, time is
Yes.
of the essence. And I noticed that the music
Einstein's.
in the background has a tick-tock sound in it.
Oh, I didn't notice
When
that.
they're on that water planet, there's like a...
Well observed.
Almost... And I think that's obviously there because they're basically saying, come on,
A literal ticking clock.
a
man.
literally
Yeah.
ticking... And it gets faster as well, I noticed, as they're
Oh.
trying to get off the
And they're
planet.
trying to evacuate.
Yeah, the sort of... in the back of the music is, which I've never noticed that before.
I've said evacuate a couple of times.
You have.
This is great.
Yeah.
Very different.
I hope you're not going to use bowels again, though.
It's a very human film.
Yes.
Is literally about an expedition to find a place suitable for human life.
And it's very exciting.
Yes, but it's
well.
exploration of. It's an exploration of outer space, but also inner space.
Yes.
I would say.
Yeah.
But also, of course, as we've said, human nature. And
what did you think of Tars?
Yeah.
Oh, didn't you like Tars' deadpan voice?
Sure.
And how anything he said?
Who voiced it? I can't remember.
I don't know, because I did at one point. It sounded very much like Matt Damon's voice,
Meh.
but it wasn't Matt Damon.
Oh, okay.
No.
What a shame.
I was hoping it was Matt Damon.
It's a beautiful cosmic jaunt. This film, I feel.
Why does Matt Damon always need saving?
Yeah. This is another film where, like, spacey film where Jessica Chastain and Matt Damon are in it.
It's true. Yeah, it is.
And Jessica Chastain kind of leads the way.
Yes.
Because she's so cool. Well, what do you think of the audio visual? Because you were talking about,
awesome. I think
you were talking about how the spectacle and the audio visual kind of ride of Inception.
They've got the same thing here. You've got the same thing here with Hans Zimmer's all-encompassing organ. It is so huge because, like, I'm watching it and the organ score hits like a hammer, and then there's like moments of just silence. So it's like,
yeah,
and then moments of just silence.
Yeah, really interesting use of.
Or if there's an emotional bit, just like the littlest somber piano. Twinkly piano playing.
That's a really good sound design as well.
Yeah. But I just love the bursts of organ. You just go, and then nothing, and then just pure silence, and it really makes you appreciate the heaviness.
And
then
some of that in Inception as well, didn't you?
There is, but it's bigger in this.
And
it's much bigger in this, I think.
In Blade Runner sequel as well.
Yeah, but I think you feel it bigger because they're out in the middle of the space. You know, this ship is shooting like one of the doctors. I can't remember what his name is. You know he's got a funny name. The doctor they leave on the ship.
Yeah.
You know, for 20 years, don't they?
Sure.
He mentions how, you know, like we're sitting here and there's just that tiny little bit of wall.
Yeah.
And there's just that outside the blackness. And that organ, I think, encompasses the hugeness of
the scale
void.
And good point.
Yeah.
The hugeness, the epicness of the void.
Yes, of the void.
Elegy to the void, if you will.
Yeah. That'd be a brilliant name, wouldn't it, for one of the score? The Elegy for the to the Void.
It's a beach house song.
Is it? Oh, that's a fantastic name. I love it.
This was Christopher Nolan's first collaboration with cinematographer Hoyte van Hoytema, as Christopher Nolan's usual
It's
DP
Wally, innit?
was Wally Pfister.
Yeah. We won't forget Transcendence,
well, that's
will
the
we?
thing. He was busy with Transcendence.
Right.
You know, putting that...
Messing around with that piece of garbage.
That film was great. And Van Hoyte has since established himself as Nolan's DP. But the look of this film is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
There's, as you say, there's such a sense of scale to that as well. Even to the most unusual, smallest angles. He just puts so much into it.
And it's such an exciting film as well.
Yeah.
Even though it is slightly, like, there is some sort of slow burn in it.
I like that.
See, I like that.
Yeah.
But what I mean is that adds to the... not just the excitement, but the weight of the film.
Of
the grandness and the weight and everything.
It's like I was saying, you understand the stakes, you understand the motivations.
Yeah.
There's not really much... I know it's quite a long film, and I can understand that some viewers may find it boring, because it's quite a bit slow.
Right. I don't think it's boring, because I think the bits fill in where you could say possibly, you know, quotation marks, boring, would be the family stuff.
Right.
The bits where the father is actually a hero, but he's then being seen as a villain because he's seen like, Dad just left us. He left us to die on this planet and went and had a space adventure.
He had a self-indulgent space. He didn't.
But he didn't.
He was doing his duty.
Yeah.
He was approached because he was the right man for the job.
Yeah, exactly. I do get at the end of it. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't gonna
lie.
There you are. I do get very lost where he goes into the
Tesseract.
the book, the Tesseract, into the books, and
the literal space and time fabric.
Yeah, I do get slightly lost with that because I'm like, okay, this is a bit over my pay grade.
Well, it's still understandable though because it is like full circle, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I get it.
I still don't
I get it
really
to an
understand
extent.
how it all goes together because it's so.
I've got some surface level, as I say,
Right.
understandings of where they're going.
Okay.
Because I'm, with great respect, astrophysics aren't.
And
my,
it leaves me like you see him steal the ship
Sure.
to go and find Anne Hathaway,
Anne Hathaway.
and
She's halfway.
I'm just so excited because when I'm watching that bit, I'm seeing him get in the ship and go, and I'm thinking, I want to see some more.
Sequel!
I want to see at least half an hour more of this movie, him going and rescuing her.
I'd get onto a ship and risk my life to go and find Anne halfway.
Who wouldn't?
Who wouldn't?
But there you go. But he's sitting there. Well, she's she always will be my Catwoman.
Who's your favourite Catwoman? It's
My
Michelle, right?
Yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
I'd get in a spaceship and go and Pfeiffer, I'm coming.
Would you get into just onto the possible negatives? Do you think it's a tad sentimental? Maybe you can see because we obviously mentioned Spielberg before. Can you see the Spielberg influence, like
The sentimentality
how
bit.
it ends on a positive?
Yes.
because his career, he
Yes.
has a tendency rather to end on a positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Christopher Nolan's films, I think they do end on positives, though, if you really think about it.
Maybe.
Well, think about them. I mean, The Prestige, Christian Bale gets back to his daughter.
Christian Bible.
Christian Bible, okay. He gets back to his daughter, right? So that's a happy ending.
Yeah.
Okay, his brother dies.
Yeah,
but
this goes through a lot,
his brother
doesn't it?
dies, but he gets back to his daughter. I mean,
Dark Knight saves everyone.
he saves everyone.
But Batman's always going to save everyone.
Yeah.
isn't he?
Inception, that comes to a happy ending. He gets to go home and see his children.
Mementrix. He.
Well, the thing is, with Memento, he stays in his little
There is
fantasy, doesn't he?
There is a resolution.
There's a resolution, and he stays in his fantasy, so he's
Sure.
perfectly happy.
Insomnia.
I've never seen Insomnia. so-
Okay, well, check out. I won't spoil that for you then. I think maybe also some of the dialogue exchanges are a bit not great. I'm not entirely convinced that Christopher Nolan knows how to write dialogue.
Right. Okay.
Um,
yeah, but it's a bit like George Lucas, isn't it? George Lucas does not know how to write a romantic scene to save his life.
I think you touched
He's
upon
not-
it in Inception. Is that I think he's more concerned or more interested, perhaps, in colouring the machinations of the thing than necessarily
They're the characters. You get a lot of things like that. I mean,
things such as dialogue.
I'm the hugest Philip K. Dick fan,
Sure.
and as far as characters, his characters are not that strong.
Sure.
It's all about story and what is happening, rather than the characters, the backstory of the characters. Maybe Christopher Nolan sees things like that. These are people that are a means to an end, rather than we're going to go back and see
good point.
what is really motivating this person from their childhood, sort of thing.
Do you think there is that kind of Miyazaki thing, as we talked about in that episode or those episodes? He doesn't talk down to his audience.
No. Oh no, definitely not.
I like that.
Definitely not in Interstellar. I mean, because in Interstellar, he's basically putting on the plate for you, and if you understand it, you understand it, and if you don't, you don't.
And if
It's
you're
not
along for the ride, kind of thing.
yeah. And he's not going, okay, everybody, we're going to make this all layman's terms because we know you don't understand.
Again,
thermodynamics and rocket science,
astrophysics.
astrophysics.
Again, imagine this in the hands of Michael Bay.
Well, see, he would talk down to us.
I'd love to see it now. The more I keep thinking about it,
You know what? If Michael Bay had made this film, you would have had, I don't want to close my eyes. I don't want to... While he's watching Jessica Chastain on the video computer.
I wouldn't have gotten her in it.
No.
Should have been like, no, I'm speaking to you, Michael. Put the phone down.
I'm just saying, like in
Return his
that
calls,
scene,
you
in
should.
that scene, you would have seen Matthew McConaughey crying, and that I don't want to lose the thing I'm
Okay, so
babe. I'm doing a poor
there were-
impression of that song.
It would have been Jake Gyllenhaal, wouldn't it?
As
Coop.
Yes, possibly. That was really surprising, though.
Or The Rock.
I was really surprised that Nolan got
Mark
two.
Wahlberg's.
Oh yes, it would have been. No, it would have been Marky
It would have
Mark.
been Marky Mark's.
He would have been the farmer boy. Yeah,
Or-
he would have been his son.
Boring Ryan Reynolds. Just quipping the whole time. I'm in space. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
I don't like Ryan Reynolds.
No, I don't.
Sorry if you'd listen.
He's been to space as well in life.
No, he hasn't.
He has in life.
Well, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, he was in that film Life.
Oh,
And he still couldn't take that serious. No, he still couldn't take that serious, could he? Because he's like, oh my god, look, there's some goop there. It's gonna kill me. Ha ha ha.
With Jake Gyllenhaal, no nice. Verdict and recommendation.
Well, my verdict for this was 2001: A Space Odyssey because
What, the
there's
recommendations?
yeah.
Okay.
Is that what we were doing?
Oh, verdict and recommendations.
Oh, my
how
verdict.
you
Well,
feel.
this movie is Jungle is massive. And we're going to do a new one.
Supermassive.
Yeah, Supermassive. I love it. If you love sci-fi and you love space and you love all that sort of stuff, you are going to dig it.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's
brilliant.
interesting.
Yeah. This isn't really, because I was just looking through like the IMDb. You scroll through IMDb sometimes, and this is not his highest rated movie, like by any means. But I think it's really
probably because of popularity.
Okay. Recommendations.
Recommendations, as I said, 2001: Space Odyssey.
100%.
Very
absolutely.
similar.
Really good companion.
The Martian.
Sure.
As well.
Yeah. Lonely Damon.
Yeah. If you like Jessica Chastain and you like Matt Damon, and you want to see another film where Matt Damon needs rescuing.
There we are.
But the difference is Matt Damon won't try and brutally beat Matthew McConaughey to death in The Martian. Yeah. He's less evil.
Less evil. By all means, check out our episode on Ridley Scott's Aliens, in which we talked about The Martian.
Yes, people, because like we're on this podcast is on YouTube, and I noticed there is no views for this.
Sure.
Why are you people not getting on Alien and The Martian?
I looked at the data the other day. We've got recurring viewers or listeners in New Zealand and Australia. So
have we really?
To our Antipodean.
Oh, hello to you. G'day.
Following, Mad Max Fury Road is an equally bonkers story of people escaping a world for greener pastures, only to wind up returning to a much better place.
Big circle, yeah, circle.
Big circle. So Mad. You could just watch Mad Max. It's really good. Join us again, as we'll be discussing 2 courtroom masterpieces: To Kill a Mockingbird and 12 Angriest Men. We'll get into why you hate Mockingbird next week.
We will.
Really interested to see what you think of 12 Angry Men, by the way. But
I'm very interested. Is there anybody famous in it?
Henry Fonda.
Oh, Henry Fonda, okay.
And he's amazing.
Okay, I don't think I've seen a film with Henry Fonda in.
Until then, you can find us on Letterboxd. I am Rat Bastard. You are...
Kerja_Relon. KERJA_RELON.
Thank you for listening. Okay, love you.
Thank you for listening, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this. Boy.
How you feeling?
I feel good.
Who used to say that? James Brown.
James Brown.
James Brown.
That's right. You know what? He touched me once.